Victron is dead. The likes of Sig Energy, all these other brands, they're killing Victron. That's what I keep hearing all the time. I'm going to say that I disagree, but we'll get into that, the reasons why, more later. So the job is this. It is a big, flat old garage. They are connected to the house via a consumer unit here. They are selling the house, but they still want to keep hold of the garage, which means they have to disconnect it from the house, thereby disconnecting it from the grid. Because to get a private supply from the grid to a garage like this would be not economically viable, to say the least. So we are giving them a proper off-grid supply, and we're doing that using Michael's Start. Hello. Along with Victron. This here is the roof in question. As you can see, it's massive, but we're disconnecting from the houses back there, and we're using a Van der Valk system, so we're putting solar panels on the roof. We're going to be using very few solar panels, the reason being there's not a very big load here, so it's only going to be a smaller system. So I thought this would be a good little job just to show you basically how to do an off-grid system when thinking about earthing, thinking about design, power requirements, all that sort of thing. We can go through it all, and if you've got any questions you can leave them in the comments below and we can answer them either in the comments or in another video.
Today we're going to be joined on the roof by Chester and Michael. We're also going to do a deep dive into what it takes to design an off-grid solar system.
When designing an off-grid electrical system, there are a few important things to consider.
So make sure to watch to the end, and if you find value in this sort of content, please hit subscribe. It really helps us out and it helps us grow and make better content.
Alright, we've got the Victron stuff already pre-built up on a board, but it's blimming heavy. I put this in here on my own last night and it weighed an absolute ton, so on then. Try and take it more towards the middle so we can snap it. It is back to us.
Oh, that's so lovely to pick up.
Nice, isn't it?
You're giving these nice handles.
Oh, thanks for letting me go backwards.
I'm giving you the lighter side.
True gentleman.
You can't have both. Just connect that in.
Just push it in.
You can take that last bit.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, that's a nice touch.
Right, now the battery. That'll be entertaining.
Gotta make sure, the trick is they teach you not to lift with your back.
Yeah,
but
manual handling. Lift like a baby.
Stronger.
Remember our training?
I'm not struggling, it's fine.
I'm actually really impressed.
Very. Your face. Look, wait, look. One leg. Strong.
It's in the name. To be honest with you, I'm actually genuinely quite impressed that he managed to do that on himself. That's really heavy. So before I go mounting up that board, I just want to check what's inside of that distribution board to make sure that none of the circuits are going downwards, because I want to put fixings in here. So I see they've got a fixing there, there and there, as well as a cavity. So I should be all right, to be honest with you. The cables are going in and up, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem. This is the cable that's coming from the house. This armoured cable here. So this is what is being disconnected. This meter is getting got rid of, and then all of the power will be supplied from the solar on the roof down to charge batteries, and then all through this Victron Easy Solar kit. So now that I'm happy with that, I'm going to mount it on the wall. What would be quite cool is if I can get all of the power down from that consumer unit into this internal one in a really nice, neat, tidy way. If I get some metal trunking, bring those cables into metal trunking along, swing down Sweet Chariot, and then into the side of that. That would be nice. We're still kind of separating then DC and AC properly.
So this off-grid board is made up of Victron and Lemon Energy batteries. It's been built off-site, which in theory makes it much easier and faster to install. But as you can tell by the African elephant noises,
Maybe I should get someone to help me.
it was a lot heavier than anticipated.
Chester, could I have a hand, please?
Go on, lift it your side, lift it mine. Where do you want it?
Probably could have been a bit higher, really.
Really?
Well, because our DB is there, isn't it?
The wall was a right pain to get good fixings into as well, because it was made up out of air blocks, it had a little cavity, and then it had that dot and dab. It just led to that awful feeling where...
I didn't dig it too much. Oh, that didn't go in.
It overdug it.
It's broken it now, isn't it? Mark the bottom two at least.
Got this. There's a massive cavity behind the plasterboard. I'm just thinking...
Okay, so we put this one in the back and then that in the plasterboard as well.
Oh, that's fantastic.
But we got there in the end.
That's many ugga-duggers. So this inverter is going to have two ways of being powered up. It's going to be powered up by the sun, and it's also going to have the option to have a generator to plug in. Imagine in the depths of winter, let's say there's a month of no sun, which happens very often in England. In a worst case scenario and they still need to come in and roll up the roller shutter door, I'm going to put a male commando socket on the outside so they can plug in, a generator have enough power just to get the thing up and running for them to open it. So we're going to have a generator in here as well. We're also going to have remote monitoring through Victron VRMs. Let's go check on them up on the roof, and then I'll talk you through why we've designed the system the way we have. So here it is. This is our Valk system. So we're using Vandervalk. It is a very nice quality flat roofing system, and it's a ballasted system, so you don't actually use any fixings to penetrate down into the roof. They design it for you. You give them the location, the height of the roof and everything. They'll work out all the wind loading calculations and then deliver you the exact amount of ballast that you need. It is literally a metal frame that sits down on these little rubber mats, and then the ballast sits on top of it. So pretty easy. Can't believe how quickly that goes together.
The guys have been smashing it on site up on the roof, and after a quick drive to pick up some supplies, I am back.
Beef jerky is delicious, but smelt out of context is absolutely disgusting. Ooh. I've got a funny idea. Knowing that it's beef jerky, delicious. Not knowing that it's beef jerky. Chester? Chester?
Hi, mate.
You smell my t-shirt?
I don't want to smell your t-shirt.
Just, I feel like there's something bad in the wash or something. Just...
Smell meaty.
And that, my friend, is beef jerky out of context.
How many Red Bulls have you had?
Had a sliver of cow.
It tastes like your armpit.
Does it actually? The guy was trying to convince me that it was authentic beef jerky. Now, I've been to Africa and I've eaten proper jerky. It didn't really look like that, but let's do a taste test. Oh,
It's filled with protein though, so that's good.
Oh. No, it shouldn't taste like that.
I don't like it.
So we've already pre-wired a new metal DB on this pre-built board. I'm going to rip out and extend all of these circuits down to our new DB. It's going to make it more accessible, nicer. We're just going to have to be a little bit careful because at the time of doing this, the homeowner was out. We didn't have access to the consumer unit inside the house, meaning
Can't actually switch off. I keep seeing things online about how Victron is dead because of the likes of these other brands that are coming in and taking over the market. It is. It's really good quality. It's easy to install. It's easy to commission. It's got good user interfaces on it. I can see why and how they are taking the world by storm. However, I still don't believe Victron is dead. I think Victron has got so many use cases off-grid and on-grid. If I was wiring up a boat that was crossing the Atlantic and I wanted to make sure it was going to get to the other side with power still working, I'd be going Victron.
once we had all of the cables out, it was just a case of measuring up
Let's measure up for some trunking then. Got the board off, got the meter off.
and cutting the trunking down to suit the new cable runs. Working with metal trunking is one of my favourite things that I can do in my career. I don't know why, there's just something so satisfying about it.
Alrighty, we have the upright one, cut, measured, ready to go. Bush, 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 bush.
Now that that's all mounted up, let's go and check on Chester, who's doing the earth rod outside.
There's a lot of concrete foundations around here. We've got a gutter pipe. There's also the supply coming into here. So I've gone with somewhere where I know I'm not going to hit anything, and I didn't hit anything. So now I'm just connecting this up. I'm going to pop this earth over the wall, and we should probably test it, shouldn't we? See that we've got a good earth.
When you are doing an off-grid system, obviously you don't have an earth coming in, so you're connecting up to the massive earth. So we connect up to an earth rod and we put RCDs on everything. So yeah, that is effectively what he is doing out there. I'm going to be using this distribution board down here. So basically we're coming out of the Victron out terminal, down into this main switch, and then we'll be connecting up all of our breakers on there, on this distribution board. So I've managed to completely get rid of that board. All of these cables here are going to be extended in the trunking, along, down, neatly cable tied through in to this piece of trunking. And see this cable, right? Looks like an ordinary twin and earth. It's a cable that we have very common here in the UK, except it's not, because inside of this cable is, boom, pre-sleeved earth cable. It's only taken like 25,000 years to get here in the UK. They had it in Ireland ages ago.
Time to wire up the extended circuits into our new board, which is a really boring and tedious task.
Na 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 na, baby, give it up. Woo!
Now, measure around. I didn't know you knew the words.
I don't know the words.
Oh,
Now you note we've used an RCBO, a 30 milliamp RCBO on every circuit. This is because effectively we have an isolated earth here. We're not connected up to any outside system. That means it's technically an IT system. Not so common here in the UK, very common in Europe. It's essential that you have 30 milliamp protection on every circuit and double check all of your earthing. All that's left now is connecting up the 5 kilowatt hour Lemon Energy battery. It's very easy to do. It's going to work seamlessly with the Victron BMS. So it's pretty much just a case of plugging it in and plugging in the DC connectors. Now that the battery's in and everything is all labeled and lidded up, it's time to start up and commission.
The startup procedure for Victron is very important, okay guys? As it's more of a commercial grade system, it's not going to be as friendly and cuddly as something like, for example, an Anchor or whatever when you switch it on. If you get it wrong, you do risk breaking stuff. You want to make sure always that the battery is switched on first. Once the battery is on, that will then switch on and charge up your inverter, all of the different components. It will then have a system voltage to properly know how to receive the charge from the solar. So when setting up a Victron system, turn on the battery, turn on the inverter, turn on everything. Solar goes last. So make sure your solar is the last thing to go on and the first thing to go off. So a little handy tip for you. Right, so all the panels on the roof are done now and the cabling is coming down through the wall in some Copex into an isolator here. There is another isolator up there on the roof just for an extra safety precaution. On the roof we have two sets of strings. Now the reason we've done that is we've gone series parallel. If you look at the front of your Victron inverter here, you'll see the voltage and the current. So the MPPT built into the Easy Solar can take 250 volts at 70 amps, which means if we were to have 6 panels connected up in series, we would be over, at least in the winter time, likely would be over our 250 volts. So instead we've got 2 sets of 3 wired up in parallel. When you have circuits in series, you add up the voltage. When you have circuits in parallel, you add up the current. So that works out just right down to here. So as I mentioned, we've got the cables coming down from the roof inside of a Copex into our DC isolator, but it's connected up via our Easy Solar to the battery. So step 1 when commissioning this system is going to be turning the battery on. So we turn that on, turn on our inverter. There's a little hidden dip switch there. All right, so it's very hard to show on camera, but you see the information screen there showing solar. So it's showing 0 watts. So we switch that on now. It should start seeing some power after a while coming in. There we go. So the battery is charging already. So 235 watts going into that battery. Our battery is charging, so let's quickly connect it up because I want to have remote monitoring access to this and give the customer like access to their own VRM. This here is our 4G dongle. We've got that connected up to the inverter underneath here. Solar 300 watts, perfect. 300 watts is not bad for like 6-7 o'clock at night, is it? Let's get Victron Connect set up. Right, there we go. So I've used the VRM app already. My Easy Solar has appeared. I just need to pair up, so I'll quickly do that now. When designing an off-grid electrical system, there are a few important things to consider. If you're going down the route of solar, you need to look at what square meterage or what square footage is actually available for you to use. And with that, you can estimate roughly your annual generation. Once you know what your annual possible generation is, you want to try and work out which months you're going to be generating more. So obviously you're going to be using significantly more in the winter months than you are in the summer months. The next thing you need to do is predict as best as possible the average daily load from the electrical supply. Is it just lighting or maybe something a little bit heftier like a washing machine? Once you have your possible supply and your possible load, it's much easier to see what is actually going to work. Always want your supply to be slightly higher than your load. That way you can store all of your excess in batteries for evenings. And on the less sunny days, which in the UK is most of them, a good idea is to have 5 times whatever your consumption needs are. So if you use, let's just say 1 kilowatt hour per day, then you need to have 5 kilowatt hours of storage. That is going to help see you through the winter months and the shorter days. If you have critical loads, then obviously you're going to need to play it safe by going with more production and more storage. But as you can see in this job, we didn't use up the whole roof. His electrical load there was so small that there would be no benefit for the extra cost. Another thing that you could consider doing if there's going to be a long period of time between you using the system is to install a generator input. If for some reason your batteries were to die in the colder winter months, then you can at least plug in the generator and give everything a little bit of a boost on the system. If you're going with Victron, then I would really strongly encourage you to do the course, or at least dive into some forums and some YouTube videos and that kind of thing, because it is a huge bespoke system and there are some bits that you can get wrong. The most important thing though, I could argue, is your earthing arrangement.
you need to install an earth rod for your off-grid electrical system, and make sure to select an inverter that will bond your earth and your neutral together. If you don't do this, you end up with a floating neutral, and then one day you're going to buy a really cute, really fluffy kitten, and it's going to chew through the power cable and die because your RCD didn't trip, because your neutral wasn't bonded and it was floating. So unless you hate cats, make sure to check your earthing properly. Okay, so power from the house is disconnected. Solar panels are on. Let's see. Nice, nice, and nice. We have power. That there hidden away in the corner is the input for a generator. So the reason why we're doing that is that if in the winter time it's not enough sun and it goes a long time without power, let's say they manage to actually drain the battery, they can plug in a generator or like a little Anchor or EcoFlow battery or whatever, just to give them enough power to operate the rolling doors. So it's a little fail safe for us. In terms of commissioning, there hasn't been tons to do. A lot of this was already commissioned when it was built, but yeah, just making sure that the battery is identified, making sure that it knows that it's going to be inverting solar, and also making sure that it knows that that feed out there is a generator input, because we have to use a male plug. You don't want that to ever be live. So that is it. We are off grid. That is awesome. I absolutely love it. If you want us to take your house off grid, then send us a message below. We do solar on and off grid around the whole country, electrical installations with indoor sit. Ping us an inquiry. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for watching. See you next time.